Welcome to this deep dive analysis. Today, we're talking about the absolute lifeblood of content creation, the thumbnail. After analyzing hundreds of viral thumbnails across the platform, a really fascinating pattern emerged. You see, these aren't just random lucky images. There are 12 specific thumbnail formats that are repeating over and over again across every single niche. But we aren't just going to look at pretty pictures today. We are going to deconstruct the deep psychology behind exactly why they work. Okay, let's dive right in because the stakes here are incredibly high. A mere 1% increase in your click-through rate, or CTR, is often the single deciding factor in whether your content gets 100 views or 100,000 views. Just 1%. So rather than throwing a random image onto all your hard work, leveraging a proven psychological format is the most reliable way to guarantee those clicks. To make this explainer super actionable, we're grouping these 12 formats into 4 deep psychological triggers: trust and authenticity, space and aesthetics, storytelling and mystery, and finally, how to effortlessly execute this using AI. Starting off with our first trigger, trust and authenticity, or borrowing credibility from the real world. Under this umbrella of trust, there are 3 distinct formats top creators are leveraging right now. We've got the UI interface, the candid shot, and whiteboard diagrams. Let's explore how each one of these actually manipulates our perception. Notice how the UI interface format basically hacks the viewer's subconscious. It uses familiar visual elements from popular apps, like a LinkedIn notification card or a Twitter post or maybe an Instagram DM screenshot. Now, if you typed that exact same text in a standard font, it just wouldn't hit the same way. But by pairing your message with a recognized app interface, you are literally borrowing credibility. Our brains are already hardwired to trust and react to these interfaces. Just remember, if you use this, you've got to make sure the fonts, icons, and colors are an exact match, so the illusion completely holds up. Before we hit the next 2 formats, we've got to understand a vital psychological concept: the pattern interrupt. The internet is incredibly loud. The homepage is just flooded with bright colors, massive arrows, and shocked faces. A pattern interrupt is a visual shift that violently breaks that cluttered norm, essentially forcing the brain to pause and take a look. And here is exactly how the candid shot and the whiteboard diagram act as massive pattern interrupts. The candid shot features 0 text, no arrows, and absolutely no glowing borders. It looks like a raw, unedited frame pulled straight from the middle of an event. Creators like Dream and Sourav Joshi use this to make the viewer feel like they're clicking on a real, authentic moment, not some fabricated clickbait trap. On the flip side, the whiteboard diagram format uses a messy, complicated hand-drawn framework, often with the creators standing right there holding a marker, exactly like Ali Abdaal does. This promises the viewer that they aren't just getting random tips, they are getting a legitimate human-made system. That messiness is actually intentional. It adds authenticity and leaves just enough mystery to force the click. Moving right along to our second section, space and aesthetics, where we look at manipulating visual real estate. There are 5 formats that play with space masterfully: the surrounded hero, the 3-panel collage, cinematic text, the ultra-minimal approach, and its polar opposite, the maximal approach. The absolutely crucial point for these first 2 formats is how they guide the viewer's eye. The surrounded hero places the main subject smack in the center as a visual anchor. Around this hero, smaller related elements are organized. Because the surrounding items are small, they don't compete for attention, which creates a highly pleasing visual hierarchy. It's honestly perfect for the tech niche or for complex reviews. The 3-panel collage, on the other hand, divides the canvas vertically into 3 distinct images. This lets you communicate multiple ideas, like, say, a workout, a shower, and deep work for a morning routine concept, without making the space feel overcrowded. It literally gives you multiple opportunities to catch the attention of different types of viewers in one single glance. Now, this is a totally fascinating psychological dichotomy. Think of the ultra-minimal format like walking into a luxury Apple store. Over 50% of the space is completely empty. In the real world, space is expensive. So having massive amounts of empty space subconsciously signals supreme confidence. It tells the viewer, I'm so confident in the value of my content that I don't need desperate arrows and 10 different elements begging for your click. Contrast that entirely with the maximal format, where the canvas is absolutely packed with multiple focal points, like a list of the best microphones or gift ideas. Here, visual clutter is actually a good thing. It signals an abundance of options, promising the viewer immense, jam-packed value inside. And then there's cinematic text. For years, the golden rule was to use huge, bold fonts. Well, this format throws those rules right in the trash. By using fancy, aesthetic fonts and muted, non-flashy colors, it prioritizes a premium vibe over just screaming for attention. This is what we call the Netflix effect. It elevates your content from a standard upload to looking like a high-budget documentary poster. If you're creating slow-living content or cinematic vlogs, this instantly positions your work as premium in the viewer's mind.
All right, into our third bucket, storytelling and mystery, or igniting irresistible curiosity. We're looking at 4 final formats here: prime text, transformation, comparison, and the detective board. Every single one of these specializes in opening a curiosity loop in the viewer's brain that can only be closed by clicking. Look at how these 2 formats essentially promise a story. In the prime text format, the text on the screen isn't just repeating the title, it's the absolute core of the curiosity. Take Jay Clouse's approach, featuring the text, "I can make anything viral." If you strip that text away, it's literally just a picture of a guy. The text is the hook. Meanwhile, the detective board format puts a core subject right in the center, surrounded by cutouts and red threads tying everything together. This instantly hits the viewer with a deep sense of mystery. It whispers a promise. There's a massive, complex puzzle here, and if you click, I'll connect all the dots for you. It's incredibly powerful for documentaries and case studies. Next up, we have the undisputed heavyweights of visual storytelling, transformation, and comparison. The transformation format uses a high-contrast before and after dynamic. You show a highly relatable, common starting point on the left and a shocking or deeply desired end result on the right. This instantly creates a narrative in the viewer's mind. They realize there's a specific process to achieve this jump, and they simply must click to learn it. The comparison format works exactly the same way by doing an A versus B setup. It sets up a conflict or a choice, forcing the viewer to click to find the definitive answer. Both of these formats are universally effective in almost every niche.
Finally, Section 4, AI thumbnail generation. Let's look at executing the psychology. Enter the 1 of 10 AI thumbnail generator. The coolest thing about this isn't just that it's an AI, it's that it's been specifically trained on viral video data. It actually knows what formats are currently working on the platform right now. Even better, it links to your existing channel to maintain your specific brand consistency, which is absolutely vital for long-term audience recognition. The workflow is incredibly straightforward. You punch in your title, but here is the magic step. You can actually upload a rough, ugly sketch that you whipped up in MS Paint or even drew on a piece of paper. The AI understands your spatial concept, whether that's a 3-panel collage or a surrounded hero. It then generates multiple highly polished variations based on that sketch. From there, you literally just type in your edits, like asking it to change a logo's color from blue to green, and the AI instantly updates it. It's executing high-level psychology in a matter of seconds. We've covered a ton of ground in this explainer, from borrowing credibility with UI interfaces and leveraging the premium emptiness of an Apple store, all the way to building irresistible mysteries with red threads. The knowledge is firmly in your hands now. So the final question I have to ask you is this: which psychological trigger are you going to experiment with in your next upload? Take a moment, analyze your content, and make your next click intentional. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep creating.